Now for a look at another story making headlines. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders hitting the one-year mark in office.
It's been a year full of bold moves and national headlines. Our Samantha Boyd sat down with her earlier today to talk about what this year has meant for her and the state and what's coming next.
It's a name you likely know by now, whether you live in Arkansas or not.
You're the governor of Arkansas.
Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Now let's roll up our sleeves and get to work.
Sanders' bold moves over the last year have gained attention across the country, well beyond Arkansas. Starting with some headlines that she was likely happy with. From the executive order she signed her first day in office to the massive education reform known as Arkansas Learns. It's known best by its focus on school choice. But the headlines have not always been good. It started heating up especially back in August when she called a special session. This resulted in welcomed tax cuts for Arkansans, but also tighter restrictions to the Freedom of Information Act regarding state leaders. After days of back and forth between some unhappy Arkansans and legislators, a scaled-down version of the proposed legislation finally passed.
People accusing you of trying to hide something or trying to not be transparent. What's your response?
I've hosted events literally in every corner of Arkansas, had over 170 open press events so that we can communicate directly with the press, but also with the people of the state. And I'm proud of the fact that I think we're one of the more transparent administrations that we've had.
But just days after those changes were signed into law, a new bomb dropped, now known as Lectern Gate. The trending social media hashtag stems from a nearly $19,000 lectern purchase that documents revealed the governor's office had purchased on the taxpayer's dime. The Republican Party of Arkansas came in and reimbursed them for the purchase after that receipt was exposed on social media thanks to an FOI request. Findings from a legislative audit looking into this purchase should come out any day now.
You've encouraged or been in support of an audit. Why is that?
I think a lot of times people that are kind of the loud minority want to create distractions and take away from some of the tremendous success that we've had over the last year.
So outside of Twitter, people aren't asking about the lectern. That's not their main concern.
People have real concerns and things that keep them up at night. We have tried to spend our time focusing on things like improving education, passing tax cuts, the PROTECT Act to make our communities safer.
But it's not been quite that easy as of the last year, starting with the Learns Act and then the PROTECT Act, challenged in court by a group that'll surprise you, the Board of Corrections.
There's very little that government has a more important and serious obligation than to help provide and protect the citizens that we've been elected to serve. We've got a handful of people that want to stand in the way of that.
A circuit judge just days ago ruled in the Board of Corrections' favor. The board is saying the state cannot add more prison beds right now because of lack of staffing and space. That judge's ruling stripped the governor's control over the Secretary of Corrections, who was on board with her plan. It put him instead back under the board.
Where do you go next now with the recent ruling?
I think one of the biggest pieces is starting on the build of the new prison, which allows us to expand capacity. We have existing space. I'm not going to stop until we do everything that we can that helps keep our community safer.
If you've watched the first ever father-daughter governor duo in Arkansas over the years, you might notice some slight personality differences between Governor Sanders and Governor Huckabee. But they have arguably more unique things in common than most families: political beliefs and political power.
I'm very much my own person, like to pave my own way. No matter what I do, my parents are extremely proud of me, and they're my biggest cheerleaders.